I have a path that is made for me. And I'm telling you that this is what I want to be. So what are we doing to make me be that? But if that's not what you have in mind for me, I won't ever get to that place. I'm very vocal. I'm going to say how I feel and what I feel. If you can't take that, sorry. If you want me to be in the back being quiet because I'm supposed to be quiet to get pushed to the front, I'm not that person. Can't do it. Not going to do it.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Kevyn Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives, just like you, on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Kevyn Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I'm so happy to have you here with me, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious, and supportive friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, click the link down below in the description or the show notes, and I will be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, follow us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. What I like to do is something called the Friends in Beauty Friday feature, where I spotlight different friends in beauty and their accomplishments. So all you have to do is use the hashtag FIB Friday feature and tag Friends in Beauty for a chance to be featured. I love to see what you're up to so I can shout you out, send you good vibes, and all of that good stuff. Also, I'm not sure where you're listening from, but this podcast is available on several platforms: Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, Google. Wherever you are listening from, I really, really appreciate you and would love if you would leave us a comment, review, 5-star rating. Let us know what you think about the podcast. Also, with interview episodes such as this one, you can actually watch us on YouTube. So make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss that. And of course, share this podcast and Friends in Beauty with your other friends in beauty, your family, and your friends who you think will benefit from the information that is shared. We are growing our community, and I look forward to welcoming everybody that is like-minded, ambitious, and, want to support each other. On this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, we welcome makeup artist Sunni to the guest chair. Sunni was first introduced to makeup by his grandmother when he was very young. He would travel with her to various facial and makeup appointments, and it opened him up to the world of beauty. Being a young male growing up in Roxboro, North Carolina, it didn't seem possible for him to follow his beauty industry dreams. So in 2014, he decided to move to New York. After working with prestigious brands such as Inglot, MAC, and Kevyn Aucoin, and also working under amazing artists such as AJ Crimson, Danessa Myricks, and the Reggie, he decided to venture out on his own as a full-time freelance artist in January of 2018. He created A Sunni Concept, which is a lifestyle brand and not only about applying makeup, but can include a numerous amount of different services and apparel. He is not only a makeup artist, but a beauty enhancer and conceptualizer who applies makeup on his clients by teaching them as well. Sunni is a born educator as he comes from a long line of educators within his family. He is very enthused about educating his clients so they leave his presence not only beautified, but knowledgeable about replicating at least one feature Sunni created. Sunni's favorite quote is, "Life is but a dream." He believes whatever your dream is, you must follow it to obtain ultimate happiness. I had such an amazing time interviewing Sunni. We've known each other for quite some time, probably about the amount of time that we've both been in the industry. So I definitely had to get him on the podcast. I've been following his journey for a long time, and I knew that he had a lot of gems and a lot of knowledge to share. We talked about how he got started in the beauty industry, how he traveled from North Carolina to New York, actually moved from North Carolina to New York with only like $60-something in his pocket, and it has taken him a long way so far. We talked about all the different brands that he's had the pleasure of working with, and also about his experience of just being a Black male makeup artist in this industry. And we even dived into, what it was like creating that skincare line, his inspiration behind it, and the process for getting that up and running, amongst a lot of other things. Sunni dropped like so many different gems in this episode. So without further ado, I'm just going to let you go ahead and get into this interview with Sunni. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Sunni.
What's good?
I am so excited to be interviewing you today because we've known each other for some time now. So I definitely want to get you on the podcast to, share your story and everything with the people.
Of course.
But before we start off with today's interview, I like to start off every Friends of Beauty podcast interview with some icebreakers just to give our listeners a chance to get to know you a little bit more outside of the beauty world.
Right.
So give us 3 random facts about you.
3 random facts. My favorite color is navy blue. My mom was a Black Panther. That's not about me, but it's about my mom. And and I am a licensed esthetician.
Nice. Okay. So everything is starting to make sense in my head now, since you said a couple of things, but this one wasn't even on my list. What was it like being raised by a Black Panther?
So, well, I mean, so when she was younger, she was a Black Panther. So it's something that you would have to like be around her to know,
Mm-hmm.
like she had to tell me. And so, but no, she's very, pro Black, which is amazing. And her being a fair-skinned woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's fair-skinned. A lot of people were like, really? Like, yeah, she was. And she's very, for us. And I wouldn't say that it's such a big difference. But she was very, very knowledgeable of the Black experience and growing up. And, she wanted me to be very aware of like who I was.
Right. I love that. That's super. That's really cool. Okay. Next one is, what's your idea of fun?
My idea of fun is communicating and talking and being able to connect on a level that, most people don't. I like to be genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So like meeting someone and being able to talk to them and get to know them and communicate, that's fun to me. I don't have to, people have to go do these things and do that. I can sit with my friends and we can talk and eat.
Yes.
That's fun to me.
I love that. That's
the
my
food
idea.
part being very, very fun.
Awesome. Outside of beauty, what do people tell you like a lot of times that you're good at?
So I am a musician. I've been playing the piano since I was 5. I also sing. So people tell me I'm good at that. A lot of, when I was growing up, they're like, oh, you're going to go to school to become a musician. And I'm like, I love singing and I love music, but I play by ear. And so then I took lessons, but I don't want to sit down at a piano and you teach me. I know it's weird, but because you can teach me makeup, but I don't want to sit down at the piano and say like, do this chord. So that, but also, what else do people say I'm good at? Talking. Talking, that. So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. What's something that you hate doing and why?
Hate doing math. Yo, I do not understand what is the point of math. Like, for some careers, for some things, I get it. This is a podcast exclusive. I just actually recently enrolled back in college.
Nice.
So I want to get a degree in art and a minor in African American studies. And so I want to do that because I've always been in an education moment. My mom is a professor, my sister's a professor. My mom has 7 degrees.
Wow, go mom.
I know. So, but yeah, so I'm very education driven. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I don't love math. I hate doing math. I realize I just don't like math. I also, what do I not like to do? Oh, when I worked in retail, I hate doing stock.
Okay.
I had a retail job one time at Express, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be a sales associate. They told me I was going to be a sales associate, and when I got there, they were like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So this is stock room. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. I was like, actually, I'm not. So figure it out. And they never figured it out, and I gave them a holler. No, stock is not for me. Okay, but yeah, those two things. Now it's for somebody, but not me.
Right. See, I like basic math, like just the math to know how to count my coins.
And carry the one. I can do a little long division, but when you start talking about the square root of 91 times pi, no, get out of here. When am I using that?
I saw the funniest meme one time. I think I posted it on Friends in Beauty when it said something to the effect of like, okay, you didn't think you were going to need geometry one day, but here like the people that do the brows and stuff with the angles and yeah.
I still don't need it because that number is unimportant. Right. The X squared that you put in that triangle, I don't care about.
Right. All right, last icebreaker is, if you weren't in the beauty industry right now, what would you want to be doing?
So it's gonna be so crazy. I say it all the time. If I was not a makeup artist, if I was not in the beauty industry, I would either be a florist or a history teacher.
Nice.
Like a high school history teacher.
Yeah, that's different. Okay.
Which is, far left and right. Like,
right. As far as like with beauty, have you ever tried to like incorporate some floral designs or something that you've done before?
No, I haven't. I'm being that I'm not I'm just not that unconventional makeup artist. I'm more of just like beauty mostly. I don't usually, it's very different for me to like grab something like one of my friends, Andra, she's an amazing artist. She'll like grab some flowers and some rice. And I'm like, I would be like shaking. Like, what am I supposed to do with this rice?
Right.
But yeah, so no, I have not incorporated that.
I got you. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I learned a lot about you just now. I did not know that you were a musician, that you could sing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were an esthetician. So that's why when you said that, I was like, it makes sense. Because that was one of my questions that I had for you later on. But let's go ahead and jump into it. All the tea. Like, do you remember how we met?
So it's so crazy. We met at the Natural Hair Expo or something in Silver Spring. No?
Wrong.
We met before that?
Yes. And when I tell you, you're probably gonna be like, oh my gosh.
But the reason why I said that is because we worked at that together. And it was like a few days ago, some years ago.
Yeah, but it's supposed to the memory.
Yeah, because it was like maybe like 3 or 4 years. No, it had to be before that. Because it had to be
4 years ago.
Because it had to be like 2016. Yeah. But no, where did we meet?
So we met, it must have been, I don't even know the year because I was thinking about it because all my years are jumbled together now. It was either 2014 or 2015. And me and my friend Crystal came to New York for like this class that they had at Makeup Forever. The Makeup Forever studio where you come in and you go up the stairs in the back.
And it
was a class there. You were there. And I think you had just moved to New York, not like too far before that. You had just moved there because you were telling us a story about how you had moved with your boyfriend and you only had like a certain amount of money in your pocket.
$60 and we're not even together.
Right. Yes. Like all
But no, oh my God. Okay, so I remember going to a Makeup Forever class and they had a bunch of stuff on sale because they were like getting rid of. That's crazy. Hold on, was Crystal a cop? Did we meet like a cop that day? It was like a woman cop and she wanted to be, I remember the day. I thought we met. Yeah, anyway.
I want to say her name is Takara, but we met so many people
together and because we've been to we always were at, like I was always at the makeup show and saw you there. So that's why anyway. So that's where
the first time we hung out and got to chill, talk was at the Naturalista. AJ Crimson.
That was fun.
That was fun. Also, so let us know who is Sunni. Tell us about you.
Well, I'm gonna say, like growing up, I really hated my real name. So since we're podcasting, this is the first podcast I've ever had. You're like first, my real name is Milton. And so Milton is, the musician part of me, but Sunni is the beauty, fashion side of me. Sunni was derived from one of my friends, my ex-boyfriend's best friends. He named me Sunshine, and there was this other dude named Sunshine, so everybody started calling me Sunni instead. Okay. And so I used to spell it S-U-N-N-I-E, and then when I moved to New York, I wanted it to be S-U-N-N-I. So, but I'm a Cancer, a true Cancer. Like, I'm very loving and nurturing. I'm like a mom to my friends. I am very creative, but I'm also very business. But yeah, Sunni is just a all around fun time. I want to have fun. I want everyone around me to be happy. I want everyone around me to be in a positive state of mind. I want to be as helpful as I can to the people that are around me. I'm very family oriented. So my whole family lives in North Carolina, and me being on this West Coast once again, it's very different. Because I'm used to going home from New York once a month, like to North Carolina. But now, you know, it's a little different. But yeah, I'm family, I'm love, I'm beauty. Yeah, that's me.
So tell us, how did you even begin in the beauty industry? How did this start? Because I feel like when we met, it was still kind of new to a lot of us. It was new to me. So how did you get started with beauty, and how did that land you like to move into New York and then to LA?
And here, there. So my grandmother is a retired makeup artist. She was a Mary Kay consultant. So I remember like going. This is when Mary Kay was bomb, like booming. Like everybody was selling Mary Kay, and my grandma was like one of the great sellers in our small town. So I would go with her to do, I guess I think facials or consultations, but thing is, they didn't do the makeup on the people, they did their own makeup. So she would be teaching them, you know, move up and, you know, put on your foundation this way. And it's so funny, my sister was telling me, this is a side story, my sister was telling me that she had on lipstick the other day. My grandma had on lipstick the other day, and she didn't have on anything else. She had on like her nightgown and lipstick. And my sister was like, "Why do you have lipstick on, Grandma?" She was like, "My mama taught me when you get up, you put on the lipstick." Okay. So my great grandma was a lipstick wearer. My grandma's a lipstick wearer. My mom, I remember growing up, my mom used to wear red lipstick on Saturdays. No makeup, red lipstick, and this hat, and it said "Bad Hair Day." But she had on red lipstick. I remember playing in my mom's makeup when I was a child and I went to the red lipstick every time. I remember Gold Tube, I think it was from Avon. And when she would come home, I would like run from her room to my bathroom to like get out of my little baby drag that I was in. But yeah, my grandmother opened me up to it. The ladies in my family were always like very put together and at least lipstick, if nothing more. They were never heavy makeup wearers, but they actually opened. I was always an artist. I always did art. So when I was 5, my career that I wanted to have when I grew up, I used to say I wanted to be a paint face. Oh. So I wanted to paint faces at carnivals. And my sister like brought it up to me like when I like got really into like my professional career, like, you know, you wanted to be a makeup artist at 5, like you wanted to paint faces at 5. Wow. Like, who says that? So yeah, this is like, it's a destiny. I was supposed to do it. So yeah, then I grew up and I felt like I wanted to be in the fashion industry because makeup wasn't a career in my small little Roxboro town. So I went to school at Aveda, and then not Aveda, the Art Institute. Then I went to Aveda for aesthetics, and I learned a lot, and you know, about natural skin and you know that moment, the natural approach. Yeah. So then September of 2012. Yeah, 2012. Me and my ex-boyfriend, we went to celebrate our 2-year anniversary in New York. So we went. We were standing in Times Square. He was like, "Oh, I'm about to go get pizza." I'm like, "Cool." He was like, "Oh, you should go in that makeup store right there." and get something. Because I had said when we were walking by, I'd never heard of the store, makeup before. So go in the store. I talked to this girl who is still my friend today. Shout out to daughter. And I went in the store and I asked for her favorite product. She gave me number 77 liner from Inglot.
Ooh, yes.
I asked her, were they hiring? Like, this is God speaking to me. I know it was. It had to be. I asked her, were they hiring? She said, yeah, I just moved from DC. Right, DC stand up. She's actually from Silver Spring.
Oh, nice.
So she had moved, and she was like, oh yeah, like I'll give you the call, you know, the information. So I sent my email. I sent my resume. And so that was September. In October, well, when we were in New York, our job closed. So we did not have a job to go back to. We ended up going back, and my ex-boyfriend was like, we should apply to those jobs. Like, you should apply to that place, that makeup counter. And I'm like, cool. So we had 2 friends that stayed there that had a 2-bedroom, a couple that stayed there. So they were like, oh yeah, y'all should come. Cool, great. I went home, I applied. I said, God, this is the only job I'm applying to. If I don't get this one, I'm not supposed to be in New York. Fast forward, end of October 27th, I rode the bus to New York with $60, bro. $60 and a suitcase and a kit. Like a kit this size. I mean, with my stuff, just the stuff I wore. And I went into Inglot studio in Chelsea with, mind you, I didn't have full black clothing. So I lied and said the shampoo spilled on my clothing. I had on jeans and a t-shirt. They hired me. I started on Monday. They hired me. I started Tuesday. I had never done a white person's makeup before. I had to do a day to night look.
As like the interview?
Yes. With Inglot's makeup, I had never used nothing but 77 liner.
Right.
Got the job, started the next day. Yeah. So now you can ask me something else because I want to keep ranting on.
That's an amazing story because it's really a testament of like just stepping out on faith and really listening to the signs. Like you felt like, you know, these were the things that were, you know, you were being pointed in that direction.
Right.
A lot of times, a lot of people, we ignore those signs.
I mean, they be right there.
They be right there. And we ignore it. And, you know, that's a very brave thing that you did. Just up and moving like that with a little bit of money in your pocket and just no plan. That's not, you know, normal for most people, but I'm happy that it has been, you know, going well for you so far.
Of course.
Awesome. So what kind of things did you get into when you were in New York? What kind of connections, jobs, and all that?
So one of the only thing, and this came back to my mind, it's so great, like you said, like stepping out on faith, and I feel as though I'm very spiritual, so I talk about God all the time. So God brings things back to our remembrance a lot of times. Like, oh, remember this? Remember you said this? And now it's like happening. So one of the things that I said, I was like, I'm going to work that, like, I have to work Fashion Week. That's what I want to do. As soon as I got to New York the 1st, so I got there in October. That February, I did Fashion Week. And I did every Fashion Week since then. So working, that's my thing. I was like, I want to do Fashion Week. Sometimes it's a paid Fashion Week. Sometimes it was not. Sometimes it was the best show. Sometimes it was a small show. But connections that I made in New York, I've been able to work with AJ Crimson. I wrote to AJ on Instagram. And said, AJ, like, if you ever need a makeup artist to assist you, blah, 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 blah. He messaged me back and was like, oh, great. Yeah, I was looking for a male makeup artist for the makeup show. Do you have a black suit?
Yes, him in that suit.
Right. I mean, hello. I was like, suit? Yeah, I got one. I don't know if I had one. I probably had to go buy one. But I went and got a suit or had one, and I was there. And I've worked with, you know, I work with Danessa, I've worked with James Vincent, I work for Kevyn Aucoin as a brand, Jen Evans, I work with Givenchy, I work with NARS, I work with MAC, I work with Kier Wise, I worked at Inglot. Yeah, and I've worked with, you know, some small indie brands that, you know, have worked to cultivate themselves. And I think it's more of the experience I got. I don't care what the name was.
Yeah.
Like Mac, take the Mac away. Take the name away. The experience I got at that brand was unmatched. I've done the lightest skin tone. I've done the darkest. I've done the acne prone skin tone. I've done the youngest. I've done the oldest. I think that, I'm very retail. Like, people ask me like, oh, did you go to school for makeup? No, I did not. I went to the retail academy.
Right.
Because some people say, oh, I went to school. I went to Makeup Forever school. Great. Wonderful. By all means, that's amazing. But if I am able to pick my model, of course I'm going to pick a model that has amazing skin. Mm-hmm. Why would I not? I don't get to pick that 5 o'clock appointment who has problematic skin. Yeah. You sit in my chair, I have to figure it out. Your skin is dry, I have to figure it out. So, I will say that MAC was a great experience. It taught me so much. I'm so glad, I worked at Inglot from like October to February of 2012-13. And then in March, I started at MAC and I worked there for like 3.5 years. And I learned so much. And then that's when I started working for AJ. I moved to LA, worked at his atelier. I met some amazing, people, celebrities included, but just amazing individuals that were amazing to be around, whether it be makeup artists, hairstylists, or just people in general. So, yeah.
Right. Oh my God, I love that. Ugh, you have done so much. How did you even go about getting all of those different jobs at the different brands? Was it just you applying, or was it more like a networking thing where you knew people that worked there? They were able to, point you in the right direction?
Well, so while I was in LA, I was working for AJ, and I'm a hard worker. So once I get into working, if I'm resting, I'm resting. But once I get into working, I'm working. Mm-hmm. So while I was working for AJ, I also that's when I got a job with Kevyn Aucoin. And I'm going to make this short. I was in Atlanta for a second, and I was reaching out to this lady named Jen Parachi. And so I was reaching out to her about working back in New York for Kevyn Aucoin. So she responded to me one day and was like, oh, I'm actually over the LA market now. I'm not working in New York anymore. I'm like, okay, great. She was like, right. Mind you, did not know I was moving to LA. AJ told me and Anna on a Sunday, can y'all come to LA? He wanted us there by Wednesday.
Wow.
Both of us got on the flight and we was there by Wednesday.
Right.
But yeah, so while I was there, I reached out to her. She was like, oh, great. I'm like, I'm here. She's like, great, cool. So when I wasn't working with AJ, the other days I was working at Kevyn Aucoin, she hired me on the spot. Then fast forward, Jen Parachi, when I moved back to New York, Jen Evans hired me on as a freelancer for Kevyn Aucoin in New York. Mm-hmm. So it just fast forward over. Then I met some people from Givenchy through Kevyn Aucoin. So then boom. Then NARS. I had been applying to NARS since MAC. Wow. With the same Black woman, brown girl, Joy, who her birthday is July 18th, mine is the 19th. It was just not the right time. I think I believe in timing. Yep. So Joy, I met her, and when we sat down in that interview, I was like, I feel like I know you. She was like, I was thinking that too. She was like, you have your picture on your resume, so maybe that's why. And so then I'm like, I know this is unprofessional, but when is your birthday? And she's like, July the 18th. I'm like, yo, I gotta go.
Yeah, she was like, practically the same person.
Like, you're Cancer, right? And I'm like, mine's the 19th. She was like, oh my God. So anyway, we connected, and I don't want this to sound like bragging, but if I've applied for a job, I usually only apply for one. Mm-hmm. And that job is mine. Yeah. I get it. Like, as long as a person sees me, it's very rare that I'm not an over-the-phone interviewer. I can do it. Yeah. But if I have to phone interview first, I probably won't get it, to be honest.
I feel you.
If you see me, you gonna see me again. because you hiring me. It's just that. But yeah, so those have always been connections, and I always try to make sure that, you know, I don't burn bridges, because I can go freelance for any of those brands at this particular, in New York, at any time. And I reached out to, you know, before I got here, I'm like, oh, you know, I'll be in San Diego. Like, cool, I'm out here, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's because you have a very magnetic and like infectious personality, and like your whole vibe, everything about you is just, it's really magnetic. And I want
I
to ask
appreciate
that
it.
question about, you know, how you got those jobs and everything, because I just want people to see the importance of like building relationships with people. Just the fact that you were working at certain other brands, that you met other people, you fostered those relationships, and you're even able to tap back into that if you needed
Right.
to, if you went back to New York. I just love that.
Yeah, I think it's very, those things, you know, I've been to the makeup show, and, you know, I can say, you know, I speak to people. People are important. And, you know, I'm that person who speaks to the housekeeper at a hotel.
Yeah.
You're important. Like, I want to know, I want you to be, you're important. I want you to know you're just as important as the person who checked me in.
Right.
Like, you're not less important. I want, like, if it's a person doing stock, I'm like, yo, like, you're important. Like, oh, because you know where everything is. So if they said Ruby Woo was out, you probably know it's the 5 in the back for me.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that, like you said, relationships and those relationship building and growing a relationship is very, very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Like, out of all the brands that you worked at, whose aesthetic do you like the most? Because I know all those different brands have their own, you know, look.
Yeah. Look. So to be honest, NARS.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being, it's because it's very niche. And, you know, they have a dress code. Like, the men can only wear blazers and button-ups and turtlenecks and black slacks and black shoes. And the women have to have pulled back hair and, you know, or, you know, very, like, tailored hairstyle.
Yeah.
But what I do also like is MAC, because I could be fully me. You know, I'm a dress-wearing, you know, big cape-wearing dude that really, you know, when I went to NARS, I've grown, though. So I know, you know, it was a time where I'm like, oh, I want to work at MAC because I want to wear what I want to wear when I want to wear it. Mm-hmm. But there's a time to wear a dress, Sunny, and I had to learn this. Yeah. Time to wear a dress. There's a time to wear a slack and a dress shirt. 2 times, you know. I mean, some people will understand and get it. You know, we are creatives, but some people are like, oh, he too creative. You know, I mean, and I get it. I mean, no, I don't get it. I understand that that's your thoughts. Yeah. But I can, to be honest, me wearing a dress into a corporate meeting for NARS would be not of their moment. Now, for A Sunni Concept, my brand, I don't care what you wear.
Right.
But to a corporate meeting, wear what you want. If you want to wear pajamas, that's your business. That doesn't mean that you aren't an effective worker. Mm-hmm. That's just me, though.
Right, right. Yeah. So as a makeup artist, what is your, I don't want to say your aesthetic, but what is the type of work that you normally do? Is it special occasion, red carpet, like?
So I like everyday women. I want to make an everyday woman look great. I like to sit down a woman man, whoever, he, she, them, they, who wants to enhance themselves. Yes, I'll do special occasions. I don't love weddings. I will do a wedding by referral.
Yes.
I might have done your wedding, or you might be a friend or a friend of the family. I don't know if just random Rosa can get me to do her wedding.
Right, right.
So I'm not necessarily against it, but my aesthetic is very clean, very nice makeup, but no, you know, I can go to glam, I can go to dramatic, I can go to the heights of being, you know, a makeup artist that's a little bit more avant-garde if I need to, but I'm not so sold on, I mean, not sold, but I'm not a unconventional makeup artist. I'm very like, you know, 3 shadows on a regular. You know, I can do a beat out eye, but I'm really not about a cut crease. Not for me. Cut crease? Where am I wearing? Do it. If you do it, you do it. But where am I wearing a cut crease to?
That is so me. I'm with you with the weddings. I just recently, because I had been going back and forth for a while, but I recently made the decision, like, I did my last wedding maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's not that I don't like it. It just doesn't excite me as much as some other things excite me right now. I was like, maybe after I get married, I'll be all, into the weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just not that exciting for me. So I definitely took a step away from that. And then with the eyeshadow, oh my gosh. Like, I'm a very and I think it's just kind of how I am as a person. I'm a very just
minimal.
Just minimal, just very simple, minimal. Like, I don't want all this craziness going on with the makeup. I just want to keep it simple.
Now, I love a like smoked out blue with some lashes, and we can get very creative with color and texture and placement.
Exactly.
But I'm just not. I feel like there are places, and don't get me wrong, I've seen some cut creases and some artwork that people have done on eyes that I'm like, honey, if I even started on doing that, honey,
right,
I might throw my brushes away. But I get it. I totally get it. But that's just, I'm a clean beauty. I love, I love doing makeup on women of color. I love it. I love that. Being able to do rich skin tones and color correcting. And I love being able to make, on a fair skin, Caucasian woman, I love doing like glassy skin and like bold lips. And I love doing classic makeup. I think that's what I say.
Nice. What has your experience been like in the industry as a male makeup artist of color? Like, how have you been received in the industry?
Well, it's not a lot of us. After the like Reggie Wells and the Sam Fines, the AJs and the Morels, and the Derek Rutledges, like in that era. Those are two different eras. I didn't name them all in the same era, but two different eras. At this point, I feel as though I've had to make my own seat. Shirley Chisholm said, when they don't have a seat for you, honey, bring a fold-up chair. Okay. I feel like I, as a black male makeup artist in this industry, I've had to make my own seat because, like, when I was in retail, I had the thought, like, I want to be a trainer. I want to be a trainer for MAC. That's what I want to do. I want to be an educator for a brand, a trainer for NARS, a trainer. I want to educate. Mm-hmm. And it was like, you get to this certain level, like, oh, you can be an assistant. You can be a third key. You can be assistant manager. Because they want you to do all that selling and money making for them. I'm saying. But I have a path that is made for me. And I'm telling you that this is what I want to be. So what are we doing to make me be that? Mm-hmm. But if that's not what you have in mind for me, I won't ever get to that place. I'm very vocal. I'm going to say how I feel and what I feel. If you can't take that, sorry. If you want me to be in the back being quiet because I'm supposed to be quiet to get pushed to the front, I'm not that person. Can't do it. Not going to do it. Right. Just not. So I think that in this industry, I've had to take myself outside of, that's why these last 4 years, since 2016, you will not catch me working full time for a brand. I'll freelance. Because if I want to take a week off, I can.
Right.
If I want to take 2 weeks, if I don't want to work this month, I don't have to. So I've realized that, okay, cool, I can work for these brands. I can build relationships with them. And, I love the brands and the people that I work with, but I don't want to be putting all of my all into a brand that won't elevate me to that's not, oh, you have to be here. Oh, well, you have to be in this position for this amount of time. No, babe, I don't, because homegirl, who is not a black man, just walked from another brand to this brand. And I've worked for 11 brands.
Right.
I've worked in 5 to 6 different markets. I've worked under some of the most amazing artists, and you're telling me that I have to work for this brand for 2-3 years because I have to learn the product? Honey, it is no new, girl. It's nothing new under the sun. It's the same product in different bottles.
What you got to learn about the product in 3 years?
The name? The name of the product. You want me to be able to say, okay, this is NC45. This is NC7. This is NC71. Like, give me something better.
Right.
An eyeshadow is an eyeshadow.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny because I never looked at it as like a era thing, because I always felt like, because I had this conversation when Morel was on the show. I asked him, why does it seem like a lot of women kind of gravitate towards, well, I'll say like celebrity glam. They kind of gravitate towards the men. You don't really see a lot of like all women glam teams.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it seems like it's always like the male glam squads and stuff like that. But you got to ask the women that, because it's something with the women that they feel more comfortable with having a male, you know, as a glam squad. But I don't feel like there's really that many in our era, because I think I am thinking about like the Sam Fines and the
the Sir Johns are still in. Sir John is still in the AJ Morel. Yeah. See that moment.
Our generation. Yeah.
Right. And I do think what was I about to say? I do think that, you know, Morel was like the he was the head of was it not Iman, but Black Radiance or Black Opal for a moment. Mm-hmm. And you know, I think that we get to those levels with Black-owned brands. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you know, am I going to ever be the lead global educator for MAC? No, probably not. Mm-hmm. Am I going to be the lead global educator for NARS? No, probably not. Why? Why couldn't I be? What do I have to do? What do I have to say to get to that point? So then I take myself out and I make my own brand. AJ makes his own brand. Morel has his own skincare. Sam Fine, you know, these people have said, okay, I'm going to take myself out of this and I'm going to build my own thing. But to your point about celebrity male glam teams, my best haircuts are by women.
I know that's right.
I love my favorite barber, her name is Tracy. She's like my god sister. She's the best. I have a LA barber. She's a woman. Hopefully I'll find a woman barber in San Diego. But I love a woman barber. So it's sort of the same. A woman loves a man to do her hair and her makeup. It's just, I mean, opposites attract, I guess. I don't know.
I guess that's an interesting thing. And like what you said about, you know, AJ creating his own brand and other people just stepping out. I always wondered that, because, you know, now the talk around like inclusion and underrepresentation in the beauty industry is I don't want to say it's trending, but it's definitely coming to the forefront during this time. And I always, my response to it is always like, yeah, it's unfortunate. We are definitely underrepresented, as far as not even like just because of our skin tone, but just the quality of people. Like if you are a Caucasian person and you can do all skin tones, then you deserve to be on set just like somebody else, like who is a deeper complexion who could do all skin tones. But sometimes you see it where it's even people of color sometimes who can't do all skin tones, you know? So I think the thing is more so around like qualified people. I hate the separation thing, because I feel like we just keep separating ourselves. It's going to be worse and worse. But I always wondered, like, why are we fighting so hard to be included in spaces where they clearly don't want us? Like, why not just go somewhere where you're like a Black-owned brand or create your own thing? I don't understand why we fight so hard to just be included in things that weren't even made for us to begin with.
That's true. No, totes. And I think that we're like raised, you know, like, okay, like I'm just gonna, not necessarily from our parents, but you know, like, oh, I want to work for Mac. I want to work for Mac. So then I'm like, ooh, I want to be this at Mac. I want to be that. And then you don't realize that, like,
they have a ceiling for you.
Yeah, like it's something here, babe. You can go, but you can't go past this. But I do think it's very, very vital to like point out the people who have have bad brands, like AJ, like Iman. You know, these people like Fashion Fair. You have to point these things out. Like, why is Fashion Fair really no longer if we were supporting?
Right.
We were supporting. Now it's like, you know, Black-owned business. Support Black-owned business. You should have been doing that.
Right. And this crazy thing is, like, I grew up with that mindset of support Black-owned businesses. So I'm so happy that people are seeing how important it is now. But I'm like, come on, like, y'all.
But even, and I'm gonna say this: support the people that, whether Black-owned, but people that you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, I'm gonna support Black-owned businesses, but if I have a Caucasian friend, an Asian friend who I know, and I can support them too.
Exactly. It's
you
not
get what I'm saying?
We can't support other people, but
right. But no, I'm only saying that because, you know, we should always be supporting the people who are connected to us, not necessarily saying, because someone will go and buy some natural. I have a natural skincare brand. Someone will go and buy natural skincare from a big brand that they sell at Credo, but won't say, oh, okay, well, I could have got Sunni's and supported him.
Because people are so attached to names, and I see that a lot of times too when, you know, with social media and everything like that. Oh my God, you have to watch Social Dilemma on Netflix if you haven't already. It's a hot mess.
Oh, I haven't.
But just with like social media, I noticed that if I post a picture of myself versus my work, I get more likes on the pictures of myself versus my work. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And then if I post something, like I could post a client versus saying like, oh, this picture that I did got featured in Victoria's Secret, like something that happened. And then like my whole timeline is blown up over the Victoria's Secret thing, but not over, you know,
the client. No, it's true.
Just as relevant, you know, for me it is. But.
No, that's not just for you. If I post a picture of me, like, hands down, I can post a picture of my product is given. All right, girl, we seen it.
Yeah.
We see it, girl.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they want to see us. I mean, hey, we cute.
Yeah, because I feel like my page is like slowly but surely starting to turn into like kind of like influencer-ish, like just
yeah, and that I don't. That, I mean, but I also think we can sort of influence. We can be influential and not be influencers, and by using like some products, you know, that we like, or using, you know, brands that we like, I think we can influence. And whether that be, we decide, okay, we're going to use small indie brands, or we're going to use clean brands, or we're going to use, you know, Black-owned brands. I think we can influence without crossing that threshold of influencer.
Yeah. Oh man, how has this pandemic been treating you?
Well, so my partner lives in North Carolina. Well, lived in North Carolina. So in March, like right before the pandemic, I was working freelancing for NARS and CareWise, and they were giving, you know, we're gonna have to like cut all the freelance hours because, you know, the pandemic is coming. I'm like, okay, cool. I love, you know, so I came home. My partner lived like 2 hours from my family, so could drive to and from there. So I was in North Carolina from March until Thursday. I did have to go to New York for a shoot I did. We went to Atlanta. My friend had a baby, so we did that. But doing lives at 5, which I'm going to do today for my first time in San Diego. So it'll be live at 2 here, live at 5 there. But being able to like tap back into my creativity on myself and think of different ways to be creative when it comes to me being a makeup artist and using products that I haven't used in a while, and being able to do my behind the brush and interviewing Morel and Rhonda and Michael Patterson and Sam Fine and AJ. You know, during this pandemic, I've been able to like step back. I started my skincare brand during the pandemic in May. So these were things, and I'm so grateful to God for, you know, putting people in my life connected to me. My friend Malcolm, shout out to him. My partner Andre and my daughter Kenny, they all were And of course, my family, my godparents, my mom, sister, they were all like very supportive during my skincare launch. And, you know, oh yeah, do that. You know, they're like the first purchasers, like I'm buying it full price, you know. So a lot, it's crazy. And me and my friends we've said it to each other so many times. This pandemic has been horrible. People have died.
Yeah.
People have, you know, their family members' lives have been taken away, which is horrible. Along with the craziness of this government that we shall not talk about, because that'll be another hour and a half.
Right, and along with the whole protests and Black Lives Matter and
right, Black Lives Matter. It's all of that. During this pandemic, I can still say that I have been amazingly blessed because I've been able to take myself away from the brand of NARS or CareWise and the hustle and bustle of New York and running around. Because in New York, you gotta run. You gotta hit the pavement. You gotta keep it moving. I've been able to sit down and develop a skincare line. I've been able to sit down and make sure my website is nice. I've been able to sit down and really say, oh, I don't want this foundation in my kit anymore. I sort of like this. I sort of like this CoverGirl Active Outlast foundation with the SPF in it. That cost $7.
Yes.
Because I did a drugstore haul. Like, so yeah, it has been a blessing and not so much a blessing at the same time. Like a blessing and a curse, I'll say.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What has it taught you about yourself? Like just having that time to slow down and, you know.
Yeah, slow down, but also that the things that I had in mind to do, like the destiny that I prepared for myself, I always wanted a skincare line, that I could do those things, but I had to take time for myself. It can't just be about, yeah, I want to make this money, this dough. But sometimes you have to take 2 or 3 days and say like, okay, cool. I'm going to get this in order so that, you know, when I go back to work, I'm not sitting at work thinking about, oh, well, if I do this, can I do this? Like I had to learn that I had to take time for me and my brand. I can't now, granted, maybe my brand right this second is not making everything that I want it to make as far as like money, but that will come with time. But if I don't put time into it, will that happen?
Right.
Probably not. So yeah.
I love that. What inspired you to create the skincare line anyway? And like, what was the process like for, you know, getting that up and running, getting the products, the packaging, the look, feel of it? What was that like?
So my friend Malcolm, shout out to Malcolm again. Malcolm is my friend. He's a designer. When I met him, we met on a shoot. We became like instantly connected at the hip. I do, every time he has a show, I'm the lead makeup artist. And we have Monday morning meetings every Monday. So we talk and we chat about what's next for us. I mean, we gossip too about, you know, crazy stuff, whatever. But he told me like May 1st, he's like, you need to come up, like figure out some skincare. Like, what are you going to do? Like you need to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, well, he's like, and we give each other deadlines.
Okay.
My deadline was like May the 22nd.
Okay.
And he told me May 1st.
Okay.
So I'm up here trying to derive and pull together and, you know, at least like, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to come out with an oil because Sunni loves essential oil. I'm an oil base. I use a base of oil. I was using the Urban Skin RX oil. I used the Danessa Myricks oil. I like oil as a base. That's it. Not a primer, not a thick moisturizer, oil. Cool. So I thought about the things that I needed my oil to do. I wanted to be very skincare driven, but also able to use under makeup. So I came out with the A Sunni Concept essential oil.
This is amazing.
Figured out
I love it.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. The label, I'm actually looking at one of the old labels now. It's actually the first, we're unpacking. So one of the first bottle I ever poured, it's like, I'm looking at it.
You have to save it.
Yeah, no, I haven't. It's like away. And it's so funny, the bottles have numbers on the bottom, and that's number 11.
Okay.
Which is like a powerful number.
It is.
But, yeah. So I was like, I got the label, and then even like, as soon as I got it out, I'm like, it doesn't even look the way I want it to. So I need to change some things. So me and my daughter, shout out to her, she's a creator of the new label, which, you know, some people do great things. I'm a makeup artist. She was great at that visual piece of it. It takes a village to, you know, make these things happen. So then I was like, you know, everyone's like in love with the oil and purchasing the oil and needed re-ups on the oil so soon after. So I'm like, okay, cool. I need to do a 2 ounce because that's a 1 ounce. Then I'm like, okay, I got to add some more things because people are asking and they're asking for other things and body stuff now.
Yeah.
So it's not a long process, I won't say, because I'm very knowledgeable of skincare, natural and chemical. Mm-hmm. So the things that I want to like naturally derive, like in my cleanser, I have sprigs of lavender in it. And those lavender sprigs are actually harvested in my county, like where I'm from.
Nice.
So I got them to send me that. And, you know, I was really, really adamant about having a skincare brand that works very well for people who have hyperpigmentation and discoloration, because that's a lot of people of color, but also a lot of people that are connected to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, when making things, like when you make a cake for someone or for like Thanksgiving, you don't make the cake that everyone hates.
Right.
Or that everyone like, oh yeah, I guess I can eat that cake because it's cool. You make the cake that everyone likes, yeah, or that everyone needs. So I made the natural skincare that I feel like everyone around me needs. Because if I have 10 friends and 7 to 8 of those friends need it, there's a world of people that need the same skincare. So yeah, it was hard. It has been, you know, just trying to deliver when my clients want me, you know, to deliver new things. Like I'm working on boxes now. And, you know, when my friend said it, I was like, oh, well, how am I going to do this? I had some like clear wrappers with some black mailers. What you got? And the mailers were too small and I had to fold the card. And yeah, but you know, with those things, you like live and learn. So.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is just you start with what you have, the knowledge that you have, you know, and everything will grow from there. A lot of people are just afraid to start because they overthink the process too much. But right. Just start with, you know, your friends that are helping you. If you got people in your corner that'll help you get things up and running, everything else will fall into place.
That's true.
I love that. That's why when you said you had you were a licensed esthetician, I was like, okay, yeah. The skincare line.
Yeah, and I'm not a practicing one, so. Mm-hmm.
But that knowledge is still there for you to be able to, you know, do that.
Make it happen, yeah.
So what's next for you, Sunni?
Well, I'm working on some, like fall, me and Malcolm talking like fashion. So like fall 1, fall 2. I'm working on some fall 2 products as well as some winter 1. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on like moisturizer, eye serum. Also then I'm working on some body stuff.
Okay.
So like body scrub, body oil for like holiday. Yeah. And so then I'm also working on getting to retailers, and that's, you know, sort of hard right now because people aren't really retailing as much, but just building my brand. And also just, I want to work on like TV. I'm like an hour and 45 minutes 2 hours from LA. So I'm working on like reaching out to some folks to try to assist and start that journey. So I've worked at Fashion Week for the last 8 years. So I don't want to necessarily give that up. I want to still work Fashion Weeks when they come back to being, you know, regular, or, you know, if they never do, I want to work Fashion Week again, but I also want to work towards like working on movie sets and TV sets. And I want to be able to say, when there will always be Sunni. But when I'm not on this side of the world, I want people to say like, he really, really made a mark on the beauty industry, the makeup industry. And so working in all those realms, not just retail and not just, because I thought, you know, like I said, a trainer for MAC, that I thought that was it for me, like being a trainer and a singer artist. But that wouldn't get me necessarily to the world of, you know, of beauty. I want to not necessarily just be in the world of beauty. I want people to say like, yo, I have his like his skincare is sold at Walmart. His skincare is sold at, one of his brand, his essentials is sold at Walmart. His luxury brand is sold at Neiman's or, that. So I'm working on, my essential set or essential makeup is very naturally driven. So I'm actually working on the luxe set being a little bit more, hyaluronic acid and things like that driven. Okay. I don't want to say chemical driven, but naturally chemical driven.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's next.
I love that. I feel like everything that you have in store for yourself is going to come to fruition. Obviously, certain things that you had before were too small for you.
Too small.
The vision is much bigger.
Bigger, way bigger.
The way that the power of the tongue, the way that, you attract things. I believe in law of attraction and everything. So
same.
It's going to come, definitely. This has been amazing. Oh my gosh.
Of course.
So I have to ask you the Friends in Beauty rapid fire questions.
Okay, come on.
Get out of here. All right. So the first one is, what are the top 3 keys to your success so far?
Consistency, being very true to myself, and family support.
Awesome. Yeah, so important. How do you measure your success?
By how happy I am. Sometimes I get a little, discouraged, but if I'm happy with what I put out, I feel successful. I feel as though you don't necessarily need $1 million trillion. That would be great. $1 million would be great right now,
Yeah.
But I think my happiness and being able to say I did the things that I set out to do, that's what measures my success.
Awesome. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Reggie Wells told me, he calls me Goofy. He was like, Goofy, you better keep practicing. And he said, but it's not the makeup for you. He said, it's the skincare for you. He said it to me. Wow. And this was at the beginning of the pandemic. And he called me and had a conversation, and that's what he said. And there you go.
This is like so random because you mentioned Reggie Wells. He is an interesting man. Like,
yo, I love Uncle Reggie. He's like the best person in the beauty world.
I met him one time. I think when him and AJ were doing the classes together, I worked with AJ at an event and with Reggie, and the way that he teaches just is amazing. Like
like with his hands, and he does not by any means paint by number. Like, this and this. He paints for what he has to paint for at that specific point on the face. So amazing. And I mean, he's very rarely using brushes. And it comes out like a masterpiece. It's nuts.
I remember I saw him at the Ubiquitous hair show one time, and he was talking to me. And I still have the video. I'm going to post it one day. I love the video. He was telling the people, he's like, you watch out for her. She's going to be a star. And he had my face.
Hey. I remember this girl one time, he told her, them is not the brow. Stop doing your brows like that. He's very, the grandparent, the grandparents that say what they want to say?
He's that one.
That's Uncle Reggie.
Her nose is wide. He's like, you need to contour your nose some more. I was like, oh my God, did he just tell me?
And you can't be mad. If it's the truth, it's the truth.
Reggie, man.
I think Uncle Reggie, I don't even know how old Uncle Reggie is, like 70.
He's probably in his 70s.
Yeah, like he's like 75, baby. But he's amazing.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question. That was like a sidebar. What advice would you give to someone who's just ready to give up on their goals and dreams of being in the beauty industry? Maybe they reached that plateau or that ceiling that people have for them. They just want to throw it in.
Well, you have to not think that it's always the way that you planned it. Again, spiritual. God, the Bible says, I know the plans I have for you. So I say, God, the universe, whatever power you look to, has a plan for you, and it's not necessarily your plan. My plan was not to have been in North Carolina from March until Thursday. That was not, North Carolina, no, it's not my plan. New York is like was like my home. It's like my home, second home. So then me being there, and then me and my partner deciding, oh, we want to move, let's move to California. This was not, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the year when I was working for NARS and Keywords in New York with my little cute little boom boom and my code and my head, you know, I would have never said, yes, I'm moving to San Diego in September. Mm-hmm. It's not my plan. I always go, and my family, they get upset sometimes. They're like, oh, you go here, you go there. Great, wonderful, wonderful. I tell my family a lot of times, like, this is what you decided to do. Like, my mom's a professor. You want to be a professor. Cool, got it. My sister's a professor. That's what you want to do.
Right.
I go with the plan. It may not seem like it's so clear, like the vision is so clear, but if I end up there and it was easy for me to get there. Now, mind you, we had to drive up a mountain to get here we drove, I forgot to say. We drove from North Carolina to San Diego. Oh. But we had to drive up a mountain. It was not the easiest thing, but we got here. We got in the apartment, everything is sort of smooth sailing. New York, I went with $60. I never slept on a park bench, thank you, God. I never was without food. It wasn't the easiest, but I didn't have to come home.
Yeah.
So I always say, you have to look at the plan. I'm like preaching. You have to look at the plan, not your plan. Because sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and continue. You have to do, if it's in your mind to do it, and it keeps coming back to you, I've been in North Carolina and had to like say, okay, cool, I'm going to give up on New York. Because don't think I've not wanted to give up. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, you know what? I can't live here. This is not enough for me. I would apply to a job, one job, get the job. Givenchy, I went to New York again from North Carolina. I was working at Lush in North Carolina. And I was like, this is just not cutting it. I went back to New York on the bus, had an interview with this man named Peter. He hired me on the spot.
Nice.
You cannot think that this plan that you have, that we cannot think that the plans that are just in our small little brains, in our small little minds, is the actual, that's end all be all. Yeah, you're supposed to work at the counter and that's it. If you want to work at the counter for the rest of your life and you're 20, 25, cool, got it. That's what you decide. That's not all. It's not all. So take the leap of faith. Back to the answer. Take a leap of faith and stop thinking that it's just what you wrote down in your book. Mm-hmm. Because if it was just what I wrote down in my book, the essential oil would have been the last thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah.
I love that.
Or it may have not even never been that.
Right.
But yeah.
Exactly. So what's a resource that you can share with the Friends and Beauty community? What's a resource? I can't get my words together all of a sudden. What is a resource that you can share with the Friends and Beauty community that has helped you in your business?
In my business. This was I'll share two. So I went to iArtist.
Oh yeah.
Last year. Mm-hmm. I get teary-eyed. I'm so weird. I went to iArtist last year. I was on the brink of not wanting to be in the beauty industry at all. I was given go work at a bank. Mm-hmm. And I met, I think it was like 40 of us. I met 40 people who were some on the same wavelength, some who were so inspired and ready for everything. And it was 3 days of learning, not makeup, but business, and Instagram came, and Instagram like influencers and people who could tell you this way of makeup and fashion makeup and TV and film. And I feel as though that was a great resource for me because I learned not only my views, I learned other people's views, but then we also learned makeup techniques from like Charlotte Wheeler and Inglot and Danessa Myricks and James Vincent and James Malloy, all those people. So that was an amazing experience. If you can ever experience it, try to. But also, I actually took a online and have been taking this online natural skincare masterclass. And so it's helped me to like learn more about just the naturally derived skin and how it there are things that can help as well as, you know, chemical skincare. So I can't think of the name. It's called Formula Botanicals Skincare Masterclass. Formula Botanical Skincare Masterclass. So that, as well as just reaching out to people. B3 has been, I worked for them for a little while. They have been Julia has been so amazing. For her to have a skincare brand very similar to mine. Right. Because it's enough out there for everyone. If people are still making, you know, makeup brands, it's enough makeup brands. If no one else makes one, it's enough. Right. But there's enough room for all of us. So just being able to speak with her because she has a similar journey and just reaching out. Again, this is just like some, you know, something that may help. Reaching out to people who have similar, you know, backgrounds of what you want to do. If you want to make blushes, I mean, maybe you should reach out to somebody at NARS. Mm-hmm. Reach out. That's another something. Reach out. Who cares? Send the email. Reach out. If they don't respond, they don't respond. But how do you know? They might be sitting at home during the pandemic, bored because they ain't got nothing else to do, and they might see your little email that you think is so unimportant, and they may respond. Right. Send an email, honey.
Right. Stop being scared.
Mm-hmm. What can they say? No? Okay, great.
Right.
Well, do you have somebody that's going to say yes?
And that's good.
Right.
All right. This is the last one. I want you to fill in the blank. Say, my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is blank.
My name is Sunni, and the key to longevity and success is happiness.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find the essential oils line, the essential line, everything. Tell us everything.
So you can find me on Instagram at A Sunni Concept _. You can also purchase the A Sunni Concept skin, the essentials line at www.asunniconcept.com. Yeah. Be on the lookout for YouTube, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
This is awesome. Thank you so much, Sunni. I appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty. And subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.